Hey, Marc, welcome to the show.
Hi, Tom. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely, it's great to have you here. So, for those
Great
of
to
you
be.
listening, absolutely, it's great to have you. So, for those of you listening, if you haven't met Marc yet, Marc Reklau, is that how I say your name?
Yeah,
Yeah, awesome.
correct.
Great. Marc Reklau is a coach, speaker, and best-selling author of the Amazon bestseller 30 Days Change Your Habits, Change Your Life, which since April 2015 has been downloaded over 100,000 times on Amazon and has been translated into Spanish, German, and Korean. Marc, it's great to have you.
Thank you, Tom. Great to be on the show. I'm a big follower. I
Yeah.
watched.
Thanks so much. So tell us a little bit about your background, how you decided to get started as an author and write your book.
Yeah, that was quite a story. So I worked with books for many years. I worked in a book printer in Spain, close to Barcelona. And then about exactly 3 years ago, I got fired. But just in the crisis, I was responsible for the German market because I'm German, native German. So, and the German market wasn't doing so well anymore. So they said, okay, Marc, sorry, that's it for you. But in Europe, we have like a good social system. So I had savings. I got some jobless money, like $1,000 a month. And I had already my coaching training. So I said, okay, now I will put it into practice what I learned, because as a coach, you learn, okay, the reframing, like being fired can also be an opportunity to start something new. So I said, okay, I will do this now. I have now 2 years because my savings and with the jobless money, it was like after 2 years I would be broke. So I said, okay, I put myself on a schedule. I studied and everything, and then like half a year being jobless, half a year I had the idea, oh well, let's write a book. I had a lot of knowledge through my coaching training, and I knew, there are so many exercises that you can do. I mean, about gratitude or, writing down your goals, what you surely do. And the stuff works, but most of the people don't do it. So I said, I want to write a book to bring this a little bit closer to people, because I was walking around here. Spain was hit by the crisis very hard. They're like in crisis now since 8 years. So everywhere you walk around, people, they have a lot of jobless. I mean, of the young people, 50% are jobless. But then you hear them and they talk and they say, well, yeah, there's no hope. I mean, let's hope we win the lottery. And that's it. And I was like, no, guys. I mean, there are so many. If you take some exercises and do them 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, you can really change your life. So that was how I got the idea to write it. So I started in April 2014, uploaded on Amazon in September. First half a year, nothing happened, but I was like doing, what we all do. You try something, it doesn't work, you buy another course, you learn, and just trial and error. And then in March 2015, I came on BookBub. BookBub took me on a featured deal, and that changed everything. I had like nearly 40,000 downloads in one day. And then afterwards, it was for free. But that when you are very high and when you have a lot of free downloads, when it goes to paid, the fun starts. Yeah, and then the fun started. So I sold in the first weeks 100, 200 books a day. And since then, it has never stopped. Yeah, it got always a little bit less, but I was on BookBub now 3 times already. And I think in average, I sell between 500 and 1,000 books of one title only. So now I have 2 more, which are not so super successful, but it's okay. And of course, like you teach, and like Derek Dupko, who was on the show, teach, I write more books and see what happens. So
That's awesome. So tell us about this BookBub promotion you did. You did a free promotion with BookBub, and then did you have it go to paid like the day after, or how long was your free promotion scheduled?
I had the 5-day promotion, but I had it on BookBub on the 3rd day. So because it was my first BookBub, I had it on the 3rd day. So you get a lot of downloads on the 3rd day, you get a lot of downloads or some downloads on the 4th day, and then on the 5th day, you lose the momentum. This was still my best promotion, but now I put the BookBub promotion on the 4th day. Or like if I would do a 3-day promotion, I would put it on the 2nd day. So that I have keep the momentum, because the thing is with BookPub, you can't turn off the promotion early. In other promotions, normally what we do is like at 5 p.m. Eastern time, we like manually cancel the promo, and then you already start getting good sales. But BookPub says if you do that, you will not get on another promo anymore. So I rather said, okay, no, then until midnight Pacific time, no problem. But I always want to be on BookPub again because it's just amazing. Yeah,
totally cool. That's great. That's great advice.
Yeah.
So I know after you did your BookPub promotion, your book started to really take off, and especially in Spain. So can you tell us about what happened there?
Exactly. In Spain, because the fun thing is whenever you get free downloads in the US, as it's also, it was free in Spain too. I have also Spanish. I had it translated to Spanish. So it seems, without me noticing a lot, the numbers were good for Spain, because the Spanish Kindle store has only 165,000 books. So if you sell 10 a day, they notice it, and it's incredible, because I got to meet the people of KDP Direct Spain. I got to meet the former boss. He's now back in Amazon in Seattle, but he was the go-to guy in Spain for ebooks. I met him last year at the Frankfurt Book Fair, and I asked him also, I said, how come you, because they promoted me in last summer also for a month, and that was amazing. I mean, that took me until number 7 in the general Spanish Kindle store. There were only 6 books in whole Spain, and it was like The Girl on the Train and those kind of books who sold more than me. And it's still, I think my book is also it's still in the top 100 general in Spain. It has been for a year, and I think it's all still from that promo, because in that promo I sold like 2,000 books in 3 weeks. So, and then Amazon put me another promotion in a subway station in Madrid, in the capital, in November, where they put like only 10 books, which were on KDP, like the most sold, and people could like download a code and then get a book cheaper. So I was there too, and it was great. The Amazon people, also the KDP people, also did an event in Madrid for all their self-published authors. So it's really like a family. It's more, as it's so small, you get in touch more with people. So that was really amazing. And based on that success, of course, I had also my book in print on CreateSpace. So based on the success, I got conferences at UEFA. UEFA is like for European soccer. It would be like the NFL. Yeah, it's the European soccer headquarters. I went there thanks to my book, did a speech there. Now in 2 weeks, I will start teaching a university course at a Swiss business school in Barcelona, also based on the book, of course, with some other materials of positive psychology, because I went on studying about that. So my book for me has been everything. It made me from nowhere, from jobless to now I'm like on TV in Spain, on local TV, on the radio, and it's all thanks to the book. So I can only motivate everybody. We know it. You teach it also. Everybody can write a book. Everybody has a story in there. There's a lot of material, a lot of courses where you can learn it. And I can only say, for me, it was the best decision. And it was not even like a conscious decision. It was like just, okay, I have time. Let's write something down.
That's so awesome. So I want to back up a little bit and make sure people can really understand your story and what happened and how it happened. So you mentioned your book was translated into Spanish. So was that a foreign language rights license deal?
No, I translated it. Yeah, I translated because I studied languages, so I translated it to German and Spanish. I sold it to Korea. A Korean publisher came to me. I sold it to Korea, and I also sold the Spanish language rights for the US, Canada, and Latin America to a small American publisher. So I had some language deals, but that's something I'm working on. I want to sell some more language rights.
Gotcha. So initially you did the first two translations yourself.
Yeah.
Okay. And you didn't hire a translator because you spoke the language.
No. Yeah, exactly, because I speak the languages and because translators not usually are very expensive. So, I mean, I don't know if you know Babelcube. That's Babelcube. That's like a page where you get translations for free because you get to an agreement with the translators and then you share royalties. But usually translators are quite expensive. So I was happy I could do the translation, and then I outsourced the editing. Yeah, I got a native speaker, an American native speaker for the editing of the American version, and a Spanish native speaker for the editing of the Spanish version, because funnily the editors are cheaper than the translators.
Yeah, totally, right? That's great. Yeah. So I'm curious, how did you go about kind of marketing and even just the basic of publishing, like your cover design and everything for your translated works? Because you had an English version of your book, a Spanish version, and a German version of your book. So how did you kind of make it so that everyone knew that there was all your book, the same brand, and that they could buy whichever they wanted?
If you see it, it looks the same. Yeah, it looks. I mean, and because I mean the Spanish and the English. To Spanish I translated even the title literally, and that works. And then for Germany, I called it, instead of 30 days, I called it Power Habits, because in Germany it's very fashiony if you have an English title and then you have the German subtitle, and it doesn't work so well. So I actually, after now, even 2 years have passed, I'm actually thinking of literally translating it to Germany, also like the 30 days in German. But you can see the cover, I had the American cover. I was very lucky with my cover designer. I got her on Fiverr. So I did a typical thing, I bought like 5 cover gigs on Fiverr. And there was one just awesome, which was this girl obviously was a cover designer who worked also in a graphic design studio. And on the side she did covers, so she did an amazing cover. So I got all covers the same. And that was that was a lot of luck, yeah. And so I buy basically everything in Fiverr because I got lucky there all the time. And of course, I have my go-to people there too. Unfortunately, that girl is not on Fiverr anymore, so maybe I have to do something.
Yeah, that's great. So can you tell us about how your sales have done in terms of your English version versus your Spanish version versus your German version?
Yeah, also in the beginning, it was the English version 80%, 10 Spanish, 10 German. And after the last summer, the promotion, now it's like 50-50. 50 English version, 50 Spanish. It's very funny because here in Spain, I do kind of the same thing like you. I help people publish their book on Amazon. With friends of Madrid, we founded a digital publisher, and I always tell the Spanish, you have to have your book in English, because when you have your book in English, you have a broad public, and you have the chance to get on BookBub and all those promo websites, yeah. And to all them Americans, I say, you need to have your book in Spanish, because the market is so small, and you can really, it's like El Dorado. Spain is like El Dorado. Spain is like Kindle was 5 or 6 years ago in the US. So I would really just recommend to everybody who has a book in English, translate it into Spanish. You can do things, and even with few sales. Maybe I had in Spain only like 4 or 5 sales a day, but Amazon, they saw that in their numbers, They saw it was, so for them it was a lot. And in America, it's nothing to sell 5 books a day. So, but then when they pick you up, that's amazing. Also now I had one student, she uploaded her book in December and not much was happening, It's just, I mean, the daily struggle. If you don't do anything, you don't sell a lot. And she was like, Marc, I don't know what to do. And I said, oh, Monse, I also don't know what to do, because in Spain, in the US, it's easier to do the free promotions, everything. You can get to more people. In Spain, you can't. And last week she was like dancing. She said Amazon chose her for promotion. I said to her, now the fun starts. Now you don't have to worry anymore. Now this is just amazing what happens here.
Yeah, that's so cool. So,
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, that's one cool thing in business, right? Is understanding the different markets, right?
Yeah.
So, when Starbucks was huge in the U.S., there were some companies, or actually, in Starbucks itself was kind of founded on this model that was working really well in Italy, right? And
Yeah.
that same business model and took it into the U.S., where it was a totally open market, and created this billion-dollar company, right?
Yeah.
It's kind of the same thing that's going on with Amazon Spain right now, and some of the other markets like Amazon Germany too. I think it's very similar,
Exactly.
is that you look at the overall sales on Kindle, and maybe it's like 3% in Spain or 2% in Spain, and similar in Germany, maybe a little bigger. It's very small, right? But because there's so little competition, like you're saying, and because the market is growing so fast, it's almost like you had published in the U.S. back in 2010, right?
Yeah.
When there was no competition, and it was so easy
Exactly.
to sell tons and tons of books because there wasn't that much to choose from, and it was easier to get readers to really notice you.
Exactly, and have in mind that you have a 500 million Spanish speakers in the world. Yeah,
Yes.
that's amazing. Many people don't have that in mind. They say, okay, Spain, 40 million, small market. No, you have the whole Latin America. So I actually even regret that I sold my Spanish language rights for Latin America, because now when my book is more famous, I could get big publishers from Spain to buy the rights. I have now an offer on the table, but I don't even know anymore, because we also, when you read the news, maybe the traditional publishers are not doing as well anymore as they did. But the great thing is I'm in a position when I can say, look, I sold 20,000 books by myself. You are a publisher. How many can you sell? Because if you can sell 20,000, then we don't have to do anything, because I can deal without you, and you won't make a big business with me. So that's amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. So have you noticed any kind of differences when it comes to actually promoting your books in these different languages?
In the promotions, it always goes best in the US. But the other markets, because I put everything then, if I do a free promotion for 30 days in English, I put the German book and the Spanish book, and now I have Portuguese too. I put them also for free. So I see, somehow it draws in the big, then of course I have maybe 80% of my free downloads in the US, but the other number, in Germany the book is downloading, in Spain it's downloading with quite some numbers, and then there's always the chance that somebody now, Germany is my next challenge, that somebody there sees that the book moves. But I think I might have to change the title. Germany is the only language version where it's not called 30 days, and it doesn't sell as well. So maybe
Gotcha.
funny, no?
Yeah, you have to change that title back.
Yeah.
Yeah. So have you tried any kind of like advertising specifically in Spain or in Germany?
No, because in Germany, for example, there's no dependable promotion site like you have many in the US, the BookBub and the others. And in Spain, it's just starting. So I'm now talking, and that's also the fun thing. There's people talk to you. There's one provider. He is like the BookBub. He wants to be the BookBub, the Spanish BookBub. He has like a list of 80,000 now, and the people actually write to you and say, "I see your book all the time. Very well. Can we promote you?" So I'm starting with them now to see how much do they really reach with. 65 or 80,000 email list sounds great, but at the end, how many downloads will it bring? Yeah, because also with some pages of the US or so, I noticed, unfortunately, that they don't keep what they promise. So I have one. I paid nearly as much as BookBub to him. And when I pay BookBub $300, I get 40,000 downloads, and from this guy I got 1,000. And then when you compare, it looks like,
Right.
I've done it.
Not nearly as impressive.
You learn. And so in Spain, I was really profiting that Amazon themselves did the promos. So, and there are chances that you still see that people get there on a how do you call it, the flash deal, Kindle Flash or whatever. And so because there are not so many of us, you still have actually chances that Amazon promotes you.
Mm-hmm.
So we are working on that. Yeah.
Gotcha.
For promotion in the US, they are the best possibilities. That's why I tell the Spanish people, translate to the US, translate to English, do your promos in the US, and then Spain will pick up.
Mm-hmm. Gotcha. That makes a lot of sense. So when you do your Spanish version and your German version, are you doing just the ebook, or are you doing print and audiobook as well?
Print, and now also, and it's also fun, I got contacted from an audiobook publisher. So they are doing now because with ACX and something, it looked very complicated for me because I am not a resident in the US. So I parked the audiobook thingy, but now I got one in Spanish now. I got a Spanish language audiobook, and they are doing now the English one. And it's very funny. The publisher, a Spanish audiobook publisher, he got Derek Döpker to read my English audiobook. So that's great because I was following Derek also for a long time. I did some of his courses. I read some of his books. He was on the show with you too, just short time ago, I think. Yeah.
Yes.
So that's kind of fun that he's going to read my audiobook. Yeah.
Awesome.
They do the Spanish and the English, and for the German, I'm really actually, if you think of the 80-20 rule, what I already think about leaving the German market because it's just so not enough, to invest a lot of emotion and promotion and anything. Maybe I just leave it there. And for the German market, it's good for me to have the print book on Create Space and to go to companies and show them my book and say, if you want a conference, give me a call. So but from sales numbers, it's not worth for me to invest a lot of time in the German market.
Mm-hmm. Gotcha.
At the moment. Yeah.
Gotcha. So how do you kind of manage all the different accounts, right? Because you've got different versions of your book in different languages. Do you have like one KDP account and one CreateSpace account? And
yeah, exactly. Everything in one account. And then we have a separate account or two separate accounts for the publisher we founded with the people from Madrid. But my books are all on one account, one KDP and one CreateSpace. And then BabelCube, because I did the translation to Portuguese, which is done, and then I have one running in Italian, and I did it to Afrikaans just to try it out, and those are on BabelCube. And I don't see a lot. That's also another thing. When you're not in control of your books, the sales numbers just don't do what they do. So I have it on BabelCube, I have it in Portugal, but nothing is happening because I am not in direct control. I can't do the free promotion. So that's also something in the future which I would probably do different. On the other hand, it's markets which I don't really care a lot. Well, if I sell or don't sell, it doesn't, my overall royalties come from Spain and the US.
Gotcha. Yeah, that's one of the interesting things about the publishing business is when you start like licensing your work or having other publishers publish your work, especially in different languages, different countries, different markets, kind of a catch-22 because it's great, you get paid, you get royalties, you don't have to really do any work because someone else is doing all the work for you. But at the same time, like you said, you're not in control anymore. You can't do those promotions yourself. You can't find the BookBub. You can't control as much. And so you kind of, it's kind of like you're tossing a coin whether or not it's going to work well in that market.
Exactly. And what I also heard from other authors, I also noticed, I hope it will change, but they say, which have gone with traditional publishers, they say they only pay you once, then you never see anything of them anymore. So that's because in the contract or something, it says, every year, but it's a trust business. You don't know. I mean, in Korea, I don't know if what is sold in Korea, if they really only sold 3,000 books or maybe they sold 10,000 books. So, and I've heard a lot of authors also, people of the top people. And for example, the woman who sold most ebooks in Spanish language on Amazon.com in the world, more than Paulo Coelho. And she also said when she worked she chooses to work with Amazon now, because when she worked with traditional publishers, she got one paycheck and never again any, because you just don't know it. So that's why I'm also doubting with this offer that I have now from a Spanish publisher, because it has to be very high then at the beginning, based on the fact that maybe I will never see. Because imagine if you give away the rights for your cash cow books, they pay you once. If that is true, then that's quick money, but on the long run, it can hurt. And there are many stories here in Spain of people that had ebooks that were selling, and then they sold it to a publisher, and they stopped selling, and they stopped earning money with it. So I get warned all the time, and they also say, never give away the ebook. Try to sign a deal just with the print and distribution, but don't give away the ebook rights, because the first thing a publisher will do is raise the price, because they raise the price so that they sell more paperback books.
Exactly. Yeah.
So tricky stuff. Yeah, catch-22, as you said.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, it's good to really do your research and make sure you understand everything about all those deals and what's going on, and what the incentives are for that publisher. Because like you said, if you got a best-selling book in Spanish at, let's say €2.99 in Spain or something, and you sell those rights to a publisher and they raise the price to, €14.99, no one's going to buy it anymore.
Nobody.
Doesn't matter if it's number one in all of Kindle, sales are just going to tank.
Exactly. And then you don't know, because I was studying a lot the thing of traditional publishers, because I worked in the industry as a book printer. Like we printed books for the big publishers in Spain. And also then you read the statistics, that, for example, 80% of what the books you see in a bookstore are actually never sold. They are sent back and they're recycled, or that only 2% of all the authors in the world, only 2% sell more than 500 books. So you say, oops, maybe it's better to keep on publishing your own books and don't go to a traditional publisher, because we don't know what's going on behind the curtain, behind the smoke curtain.
Right, absolutely. Yeah, there's very little transparency, right? It's not like with Amazon, you get a report every day, every month, tells you how many copies you sold, in what country you sold them. Whereas with your publisher, you're lucky to get royalty statements once or twice a year.
Exactly. And I read a very interesting article, because in Spain still they are afraid of Amazon, and I know why, and they really said, this guy said, Amazon, since they're there, they did really everything to do the best for the readers and the authors, and the traditional publishers screwed the readers and screwed the authors, So
yeah. That's kind of how I feel about pretty much the entire traditional publishing industry, or very much of it, and not just in the US, but all over the world, right? It's like exactly what you say. It's like Amazon is out there trying to give the readers the best possible experience, the best possible pricing, the best value, the most convenience. And whereas the traditional publishers, they're doing crazy stuff, like still gating their products. Like when they publish your book in print, they might do the hardcover first for $25, and they won't give you a paperback for a year or 2 years later until they've milked the cow for as much money as they can off of that hardcover book.
Exactly.
It's insane. It's like what other business in the world do you have? The business, the publisher, where they they make an inferior product or they make a product not available just so charge more, just so that they can raise their prices. It's like you're not giving your customers what they actually want. Exactly the opposite of Amazon. They're always trying to give the customers exactly what they want.
And I like this with Amazon. I like it. The reader decides if your book is good or your book is bad, but you are there. You can put your book there, and then if your book is good, it sells. If your book is not so good and you make a good marketing, it sells. But if your book is shit, it doesn't sell. But that's great. That's democracy. And in traditional publisher, an executive in a corner office decides if he gives you a chance or not. Mm-hmm. And then maybe good books never come to reader. We have so many examples, I mean, And I think I like that. I'm a big Amazon fan. When they called me, they said, Marc, we want to do a promotion with you. I said, you guys can do everything. Whatever you do, I sign everything, because you really made my day. They really, I owe everything to Amazon. Thanks. Well, of course, maybe I also I wrote a good book, but that it's out there, it's thanks to them, you know?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
So, yeah.
I'm wondering can you share some numbers or information on your book in Spain and the ebook versus the print book? Which version is selling more copies?
Always ebook. Yeah, ebook. I would say my print book only is 10%. Makes 10% of my royalties per month. 100, 200 euros a month.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
So the ebook is like 10x more.
Ebooks is but the print book is great for me. But if you see, I mean, that's talking royalties. But when you think that the ebook brought me the print book, you know, I take the print book and I go to events and I give it to people, and then when I see what comes there, that's probably even more. Just, you know, when you speak conferences or the university course or coaching clients.
Mm-hmm.
So it's also good to have to create always the paperback book. For me, it's like a card, you know. It's like, instead of giving my business card, I'm giving my book to people, and because also it's like a biography also, you know. So I say you read the book, you know me. There are no secrets. Then I wrote my failures in there. I wrote my victories in there. So I rather the print book is better for me for that, you know, to give it to people, to organizations.
Yeah, I mean, obviously you're making a profit on the print book still, even with only a couple €100 a month, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, obviously you would want that as well. But I think it's really good for people to understand the numbers, right? Because again, like if you're looking at, you know, self-publishing versus a traditional deal, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you know that 90% of your royalties are going to come from the ebook version.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, why not just go do that yourself, right? It's so much easier.
Exactly.
You don't need distribution in a bookstore to sell an ebook, right?
Exactly.
So and I know you've worked with a lot of other authors in Spain and, you know, with your publishing company and so forth. Would you say that those are kind of similar numbers across the board in different markets, different genres, like 90% ebooks in Spain?
Yeah. Yeah. The good thing with those people is because they are like already like celebrity therapists, because the guy I'm working together, he's like an event manager. But those people are already like, known, famous a little bit. You know, and so there, even with small promotions or something, that's what works well in Spain. I mean, they send them a mail to their following and you sell hundreds of ebooks in a day or two. And that for Spain is amazing, you know, because I have to say Spain is I am in the top 100, but you sell a fraction of the books that you would sell if you were in the top 100 in the US. And you also, of course, earn a fraction. I mean, if you sell 30, 40, 50 books a day, in Spain, you are in the top 10 of the general Kindle store. So, but it's okay. You stay there also longer, and it's good because people see you, you know. So because the audiobook deal I got because I've been there in the top 100 general for a year, and also in the top 10 or top 5 of personal development. I mean, since last summer, nearly 13 months. And then sooner or later people see it, you know. They say, if this guy is always there, it must be a good book.
Definitely. That's awesome. Well, you know, if you could kind of go back in time and give some advice to yourself when you were just publishing your book for the first time, is there anything you'd do differently?
No, I would just say, don't be scared. Hit publish, no matter what your mind tells you and your fears. I'm sure you know that too. I mean, the week before publishing, suddenly I was doubting everything. You know, like, oh, maybe my editor wasn't as good as I thought. Oh, I don't really like the book. And then I was like, hey. I mean, I loved every chapter I wrote. It can't be that suddenly, coincidentally, now when I have to hit publish, all these fear come, and it's like that. You would take every excuse to not publish, you know. And then I said, publish, hit publish, never give up. People will reject you. I mean, but every 6 or 10 rejections, something great happens, you know. That's how last year I got rejected more than ever. but it was the best year ever also, because of course I did more than ever too, you know. But from the publishing, yeah, the technical stuff, which we all know, you know, it's like, do your promotions, do your free promotions, get the book out. I mean, I rather would always start with getting the book out in the thousands, you know, to also, if it's for free, to get it in many hands, because it also helps Amazon to see who buys your book from the metadata. And then after a while, I would maybe do the 99-cent promotions to get some good screenshots of a #1 bestseller. I mean, if you get on BookPub, you have it, you know. If somebody gets on BookPub with this book, you are a #1 bestseller, and you are #1 bestseller for a month, maybe. So when I get on BookPub, I'm in time management, 2 or 3 months. I'm up there selling more than Tim Ferriss and David Allen, unfortunately. But then after 3 months, I go down and they stay up.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah. Well, thanks, Marc. I really appreciate all the advice and wisdom you shared with us today. It's been really helpful.
Thank you. It was a pleasure to talk to you.
Yeah, absolutely. So before you go, can you share a little bit more about the work that you're doing and where people can connect with you online?
Yeah, I have I have 3 web pages, but one is in Spanish. So I say the American ones, the English ones. One is goodhabitsacademy.com. And the other one is Reklau, my name.com. And I help people get their books on Amazon. I do coaching, live coaching also, help people reach their goals. And, well, guess I have to write another book soon also. How about you? Do you have some new book in store, or?
I'm working on stuff. I'm working on some. Yeah.
Good. I'll keep my eyes open.
Awesome. I'll let you know when it's ready.
Okay, super.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Marc. Really appreciate it.
Thank you.